What do we learn about the tribe of Gad from 1 Chronicles 5? This is the question we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of 1 Chronicles on Walking Through the Bible.
The glory of his cross.
Today we're going to be discussing 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verses 11 to 22, but before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, turn to 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 11, but if you don't have a Bible, don't worry, just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, 1 Chronicles chapter 5, beginning at verse 11. And the children of Gad dwelt next to them in the land of Bashan as far as Salcah. Joel was the chief, Shapham the next, then Jaani and Shaphat in Bashan, and their brethren of their father's house, Michael, Meshullam, Sheba, Jorai, Jachin, Zia, and Eber, 7 in all. These were the children of Abihail, the son of Huri, the son of Jerorah, the son of Gilead, the son of Michael, the son of Jeshishai, the son of Jado, the son of Buz. Ahai, the son of Abdiel, the son of Gunai, was the chief of their father's house. And the Gadites dwelled in Gilead, in Bashan and its villages, and in all the common lands of Sharon within their borders. All these were registered by the genealogies in the days of Jotham, king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, king of Israel. The sons of Reuben, the Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh had 44,760 valiant men, able to bear shield and sword, to shoot with the bow, and skillful in war who went to war. They made war with the Hagrites, Jetur, Naphish, and Nodab, and they were helped against them, and the Hagrites were delivered into their hand, and all who were with them, for they cried out to God in the battle. He heeded their prayer because they put their trust in him. Then they took away their livestock, 50,000 of their camels, 250,000 of their sheep, and 2,000 of their donkeys, also 100,000 of their men, for many fell dead, because the war was God's, and they dwelt in their place until the captivity. Thus far, we have been looking at the genealogies of the tribes of Israel. These, of course, contain names that are often hard to pronounce and are thus often skipped. However, there are details about each tribe that we have learned among the names, details that help us as we read through other portions of Scripture. Thus far, we have covered 3 tribes, Judah, Simeon, and Reuben. From Judah, we learned that the kingly families came from this tribe, such as King David, which would ultimately lead to the Messiah. From Simeon, we saw the fulfillment of Jacob's prophecy back in Genesis 49, with that Simeon would be scattered in Jacob. Upon entering the Promised Land, Simeon was the smallest tribe and had borders within the boundaries of Judah. Gradually over time, the peoples of Simeon moved around, literally scattering them among their brethren. And then we have Reuben, a tribe that received an inheritance east of the Jordan, just north of Moab and south of Gad. The families of Reuben should have received the birthright, but Reuben forfeited that to Joseph when Reuben slept with Jacob's concubine Bilhah. That doesn't mean that Reuben didn't receive good land, for they did in Gilead. Nor does it mean that they weren't successful, for they were, for we learned that they expanded their influence eastward, especially during the days of Saul. It's just that they weren't the leaders in Israel. That would belong to Judah. Coming now to the tribe of Gad, the oldest son of Leah's handmaiden Zilpah, we come to the tribe that bordered Reuben to the north. This was the second of the 2.5 tribes that received land east of the Jordan, and they possessed most of the land of Gilead all the way up to the southeastern tip of the Sea of Galilee, which is where the borders of the half-tribe of Manasseh began. This was good pasturing land, which is why the tribe of Gad desired it in the first place. And because they helped their brethren fight the Canaanites west of the Jordan, Moses promised that they could keep it. The genealogies of Gad are thus far presented to us differently than the other 3 tribes we've looked at, in that they don't begin with the sons of Gad listed in Genesis 46. They begin with a census that seems to take place beginning in the days of Jeroboam II, and another census completed in the days of Jotham. Up on the screen now is our timeline that we had in 2 Kings. As you can see, Jeroboam II reigned from about 780 to 751 BC, and this represented the last expansion of the northern nation of Israel before the Assyrian captivity. This time period could be part of what is being described in the wars mentioned in verses 18 to 22. Jotham, however, didn't begin to reign until 748 BC, shortly after the death of Jeroboam II. So, either this was a second census being mentioned, or it took a while to complete this census, both of which are possibilities. Whatever the case, the leaders of Gad are traced back to a time not too long before the Assyrian captivity that took place in 722 BC. Like it was with the tribe of Reuben, we don't know exactly why all the prior generations were skipped, but perhaps for brevity, the chronicler brought it down to a time period closer to the captivity, seeing as how the Messiah wasn't coming from Gad, and thus simply knowing that these later generations came from Gad would suffice. As we said earlier, the tribe of Gad dwelt in the land of Gilead, east of the Jordan. However, just as Reuben expanded its influence, so did Gad, with the assistance of Reuben and the half-tribe of Manasseh. At one time or another, perhaps during the days of Jeroboam II, all these tribes went to war with the Hagrites, Jether, Naphish, and Nodab. Some of those names, Naphish and Jether, are names of Ishmaelite families, and so it is quite possible that all these people have some relation to Ishmael and dwelt in land just to the east of Gad. The chronicler tells us that 44,760 valiant men from these tribes went to war. This number is considerably less than the almost 135,000 valiant men of war that were numbered in the days of Moses from these tribes, showing us that some time has passed and quite likely the numbers east of the Jordan had shrunk in the decades that followed due to God's punishment of Israel for sin. However, during this battle, the tribes east of the Jordan prayed to God for victory, and he gave it to them because they trusted in him. Some might see this as not meshing well with the time of Jeroboam II, but I simply ask, what other time in the northern nation's history would this fit better into? They all had evil kings. However, it was during the time of Jeroboam II that Israel's territory expanded. Could part of the reason be because some of the tribes trusted in the Lord, even if momentarily? But because of that trust, God granted these tribes deliverance, just as he always promised. God has always said that he would be with the faithful. No, things might not always go the way we want, but God will not abandon the faithful. These tribes were faithful here and so obtained victory. And as a result of this victory, the children of Gad took great spoils and dwelt in their expanded territory until the time of the Assyrian captivity. That means that if it took place during the reign of Jeroboam II, then at most, this period of time could be 50 to 60 years. That's not an insignificant period of time, but it's not centuries either, so we shouldn't think that Israel controlled this land for a lengthy period of time, as our study of 1st and 2nd Kings would deny such a fact. With the conclusion of our look at Gad, we have one more tribe east of the Jordan to cover, the half-tribe of Manasseh, something we'll do, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verses 23 to 26, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.